Hello again, YouTube. This is going to be a video about another video which some of you might have seen. Probably some of your friends posted it either ironically or an attempt to be clever on Facebook. And it is yet another rhyming video about how social media is making us antisocial and how we're all ignoring our friends and family because we're too busy looking at our cell phones. The video is called "Can We Autocorrect Humanity?" And there was a similar video that also went viral a few months back called "Look Up." And it was all about how we should look up from our cell phones and see what's around there. Now, my friend, Healthy Addict, made a response to that in which she made a lot of great points about the good side of social networking and social media and how you can meet people you otherwise wouldn't meet, connect with people that you otherwise would have difficulty connecting to. And I find a lot of that true. A lot of my family is scattered throughout the country. And being 30 years old, a lot of my siblings and cousins, they're all, you know, starting to have families and children. So I can see pictures of them, keep in touch with my family that's pretty spread out throughout the country and so on. I've met all sorts of people through online and really share my point of view. Recently, I had a problem with one of my hard drives. It died. And so what did I do? I went on the computer and researched what software to recover it with and how to go about that process. And that's just one of the most recent examples in the countless times that I have been saved by message boards and by all sorts of other tutorials and things on the internet where it's other people helping complete strangers, explaining things to them, teaching them things. That's one of the wonderful things about the internet, is that people are able to share knowledge. As far as this idea that people are so engrossed in their cell phones that they're ignoring other people, well, maybe the internet and smartphones and all these other things are just showing that person's true nature, because without a smartphone they might still just be, you know, daydreaming in their head. If they didn't have any sort of electronic device, they still might be an antisocial person. In this video, the Can We Autocorrect Humanity, you see a couple of scenes, one in which there's a man and a woman at a restaurant, and the man is on his cell phone and the woman is just sitting there ignored, although in all reality they'd probably both be on their phones. And then there's another scene where they're laying in bed together, and you know, he's looking at the phone and she's just sort of like looking at nothing, and it's this, we're ignoring the people right in front of us because we'd rather look at a cell phone. And I think that is an exaggeration. Personally, I still go out and interact with other people. I'm not constantly on my cell phone, but I can only speak anecdotally, but I think that the people making these videos can really also only speak anecdotally. I don't think there's this epidemic of people completely ignoring the people around them and not going out and socializing and doing things just because they'd rather be stuck to their cell phone. And if they do, it's something other than the very fact that the technology exists. Personally, I think that making the overblown and skewed point that we were all completely withdrawn into our own technologies and becoming antisocial is just a way for people to seem like they're clever and have some insightful social commentary to offer. I don't really think people are behaving in quite the way presented in these sorts of videos. However, I should mention that there is a book to this effect called Alone Together by Sherry Turkle. I can't really comment too much on it because I've yet to finish reading it. Now, but there is in the description a link to the TED Talk by the author that will give a sort of overview of the book. I also want to mention a book that I have finished reading called Present Shock by Douglas Rushkoff, and I think that he makes a somewhat different point. So in these viral videos about how we should look up from our cell phones and all that sort of thing, and in Alone Together, the point is more that we have all this technology that's supposed to bring us together, but it doesn't really, and we're all feeling alone and detached and so on. Rather, in Rushkoff's book, Present Shock, he talks more about how, first of all, the internet provides this constant stream of information, and also that although it would seem like technology is supposed to make our jobs easier and our lives easier, that it kind of tethers us to this constant stream of information. So you might end up checking your email at your child's sports practice or sports game because you have to make sure that you didn't get some company memo. And so you can never quite, for certain people, some people can just leave their job when they punch out at the end of the day, but for certain people, they can never quite leave their job because they can always be emailed. And so there's this constant pressure to be checking all of this information and managing this endless flow of information, whether it be from your job, from your social media accounts, or whatever that you're tuned into online, that rather than we just don't want to socialize because we're so fixated, it's that we feel this need to constantly check all of this endless flow of information, or as much of it as we can. So it's almost like a kind of addiction that technology has tethered us to our jobs in a way that we weren't before, is feeding us constant information that we can't shut off. It's an endless flow that we can just do all we can just to keep up with to begin with. And I think that's a somewhat more interesting perspective on this issue of why we're all so seemingly glued to technology than to say that, you know, because it's actually trying to go, rather than look from the outside and go look at that person constantly staring at their cell phone, it's trying to ask the question, what is it on their cell phone that keeps them spending 4 years of their life on average looking at it? What is the information that keeps them looking at the screen, and how is that affecting us? And those sorts of issues is more interesting than just going, put down your cell phone and talk to your wife or whatever. And somebody very cleverly, one thing that went viral on Facebook, it was this picture from, I'm not sure when it was, it's a black and white picture, and it's the caption says something like, those people, look at all these people absorbed into their cell phones and not paying attention to each other, or something like that. And it's a picture of people on a bus, and everyone on the bus is reading a newspaper and ignoring everyone else on the bus. There have always been things to distract us. We can just as easily blame Gutenberg for this problem, or literacy in general. Those damn public schools that taught you to read, that's if you didn't know how to read, you wouldn't be stuck in books and phones and all these other things, and you'd actually have to talk to people. And even going back to ancient times, Plato, he was concerned that writing was going to cause people to lose their memory. There's always these sorts of anxieties that build around technology, that it's ruining us somehow, it's deforming society. And I think they should always be taken with a grain of salt. And if we are going to examine these questions, we should look at both sides of the issue. What bad things has social media done? What good things has social media done? And what is causing us to constantly look at our phones rather than just go, get off your damn cell phone, you bloody kids. And so I'm going to stop rambling here. Comments, all of that sort of thing are appreciated in the description. Have a nice whatever.